gonna start in a little bit and just see if some more people trickle in. If you guys have any questions, just pop them into the comments. So JB, I see you popped in. If you guys have any questions or anything regarding SDQL, just go ahead and say something, and then I could just maybe talk about it. We could also go through specific situations, and maybe we could just dive into typing out some SDQL. How the bookies get it out as pick'em, like it's Luka matching with Paul, and there's Booker and Wings. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously there's a travel situation, and you also want to think about recency bias, right? Like you don't want to just take these first two games and just base it off of that, because there was a whole regular season that you could see. I mean, both teams were actually a lot better defensively than what they're showing, but also the Phoenix Suns are just they're just playing really great offense right now. You could see if you watch the game, a lot of those shots that they made, they were contested. It's not like they were all layups and dunks and stuff like that. I mean, you had Booker shooting like 25-foot 3-pointers, off of screens and stuff. So it was tough. We'll see how they do back in Dallas, though. Hey, Sam. Uh, Maybe we could just go over one of the baseball games later. I don't know if you guys were up on my last stream, the last live SDQL stream. We kind of went over the two sources, Spodevs and Give Me the Dog. I kind of gave pros and cons to each one of them, or the reasons why I use one or the other. I like this one here to start off with the MLB. We can kind of pick up a matchup. Let's just go Rays and Mariners here. One thing that's cool about Spodevs is they give at a glance stats, also some analysis from the regular season. You see. What's up, Brandon? Oh yeah, yeah, Sam. Yeah, let's dive into this one real quick. So this is here the series analysis um, between Rays and Mariners. The results here after a loss, after wins, in the series game one. So you can kind of see both of them don't do well in game one series after their specific wins and losses. If you look at OU here, over under, same thing, a little bit of a trend towards the under in that first game. If you're looking at pitching matchup, Shane McClanahan, both lefties here. You can see their stats here on the over under, their whip, ERA. I like to go down to this section here because it's pretty helpful that they have the little highlighting here against lefties, how Mariners and the Rays do against lefties here. You can kind of see who hits better, right? As far as who against the lefties. So if we were trying to focus on the first five, just based off of hitting lefties, you would see the Rays have the little bit of an advantage here on the average. But you can see here there's a power advantage against on the Mariners side with the home runs, 1.2 versus 0.8. You can see maybe this might be a little story that we could do with maybe a prop bet on the strikeouts over for McClanahan. If the Mariners strike out that much against lefties, that could be something that you could look at too. Here's some bullpen stats here. Sam, what did you have? What were you looking at on this one? Did you have something in mind as far as the play? Did anyone even have questions on how to write some SDQL either? You can pop those into the comments as well. I kind of want to look at this McClanahan K's over now and see what that number is. Anyone in the chat have that number offhand? Let's look at this one. 6.5. Let's go back to that. 6.5. You guys think he lasts pretty long? His average innings pitch is 5.4. I hate your bookie. Thanks for the question, man. How many parameters do you think is appropriate? I would think sometimes being too vague or specific could be good or bad. Yeah, I think it just depends on the situation. You got to make sure it just makes sense. That's really what it is. You got to ask yourself why. Why do you want to have that many parameters, or why do you want to have this not as many? I mean, if you're looking at just league wide type of stuff, I don't know if you saw the episode with Ski earlier. We were talking about situational trends. If you're bringing in a lot of parameters towards a league wide system, I don't think that's a really good idea. I think usually when you want to go past like 4 or 5 parameters, you're looking more towards a specific trend and just using it more for support. But if you're looking at just like 3 or 4 parameters, I think that's a good way to start at the very least, and then you can kind of look at it from different angles. So actually, I think I brought one up here. So like if you look at the NBA, this is one of the little situations that I was looking at throughout the regular season that was pretty profitable. And you can kind of see here. So what I'm reading here is in this current season, if the team was on a second game of back-to-back, and in the previous matchup they won, and they won in the previous game as well. So in the regular season, you're not seeing teams play back-to-back. So this is more like a regular season trend. But in those situations, they failed to cover the spread at was this like 62%, almost 62%. So in this situation, you would want to fade these teams. So in my capping process, I kind of look at these trends here, and especially league-wide trends, and then kind of dive into them a little bit deeper. So like if this was the Raptors, right? If this was the last instance here, and there was no result, I would probably look at this and say, well, how would the Raptors team do in this specific situation? Because it could always be something to do with like the coaching part of it, and how they take account into against teams that they've already beaten. So if you've seen some of the shows that I've done, that's some things that some stuff that I talk about, like did they already beat this team in the last matchup, or is it a revenge spot? If we look at this spot here, you can kind of see that like if this was the last instance, you kind of see that it was kind of trending the other way, right? They had 2 L's in a row. So it's something that you would probably want to look in further before you just blind tail a system like that. Did that kind of make sense? I hate your bookie. If you're still there. JB says McClanahan 5 starts this year, 7+ strikeouts in every start. So going back to that, if we want to go back to that, I think that might be a really good look. Then I mean, if we see that if we're thinking he gets past the 5 innings, and he's getting about seven strikeouts per outing, and against lefties, the Mariners are striking at a pretty high rate. To me, this looks like a pretty high rate. So it might be a situation where we take that over on the McClanahan. All right, hate your bookie. Yeah, yeah. Glad that could answer your question. You like to sort the totals and lines when I have many. Yeah, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yep. To weed out anything, you just want to do your due diligence and see, um, what kind of makes sense in that situation. So like if you're looking at that same trend and the line is at like -10, if the team is favored by -10, they're likely to uh, maybe win the game but not cover. So like a team like the Raptors, that's pretty much what happened in those specific trends. Anyone else have any questions on SDQL stuff? Yeah, no problem, man. Greg, what am I looking up? I was just, I was waiting for some people to bring up situations to actually type out an SDQL query. But while I was waiting, I was just looking into this Mariners Rays game and see if I could come up with a bet on the fly here. To right now, it's looking like maybe McClanahan over strikeouts. Looks like something that we could look into a little bit more. That the bar character. That's when I feel like it depends on where you use it. Where you use it, I think you could use it on. I don't know if you could use it on here. I used to use it on Killer Sports and Sports Database. It's when I used to use it when you create a table. So the bar character separates what fields you want in the table versus the parameters. So like if you were trying to do, let me see if I can bring one up real quick. It's a very very long query that I have to create a baseball table. So I use give me the dog for this. Oh man. Oh. 1 second. Dang it. I forgot my password for this site. Um, that sucks. Let me share my a different browser. 1 second. So this is a table that I put together. So what it does is actually allows me to see some of the stats here. So you can see this whole large code here. Back then, I would have needed to put a barcode here. Sorry, a bar chart, bar character around this area to kind of separate the parameters. So what I'm looking at here is this is a team how teams do against starting right-handers this season. So obviously you can see that it goes to the next day as long as it's on the schedule. So you can see who's pitching the next day. You have the line available, the total. Where they're pitching from. They're over and under. So this is a over and under type of table. So we're looking at the over under against right-handed pitchers, and I put little different situations here. as far as what the line is and where they're playing. So that's what the bar character used to do. I don't know what it does now. I don't necessarily need it in this code anymore. So that otherwise, oh, there it is. Sorry. All right, JB had it. The bar at the chart lets you sort the query. Yeah. So in this one, I don't have the bar, but it does let me sort it all out. So tomorrow, since this is up, so tomorrow you can look at Diamondbacks and Zach Davies. There's a little thing here where he's a home dog. So if we look at how they do as home dogs, when he's on the mound, 0-7 to the under. So that's something to look at there. So that's kind of what I use this table for. Just a quick glance. Where can I find some edges as far as how things go, how things have gone so far this season? Any other questions? Anyone in the on YouTube? If you have any questions. Yeah, if not, I'll probably just cut this short. It'd be a lot. It would be a lot easier if people had questions, because then I would just be able to type that stuff out. But yeah, maybe a little bit. Maybe next time we get a few more people who are more interested to have certain situations written out by code, because I know a lot of people want to use this type of data, trends, and bring that stuff up. Oh yeah, go ahead, Jonathan. What was your question? Are the Mavs better without Luka in these playoffs? You know what? Here, let's actually bring that up. Let's bring up how the team does without Luka. Let's see, especially specifically this season. So what this says here is how the Mavericks do when Luka plays 0 minutes. So that's kind of my way to say he didn't play that game. So these are the stats for this season specifically: 10-10 straight up, 11-8-1 against the spread, 11-9 to the under here. And if we look towards the playoffs, we can add the playoff parameter. So there's 3 games here. Covered 2 games, failed to cover 1. And that was game 1 where they failed to cover by the hook, I believe. Yeah, failed to cover by 1 point. So yeah, there's the answer to your question. That's one of the things that you could look up here on Give Me the Dog. I'm not too sure if Spodevs. I never really tried Spodevs on player stats, so maybe that's something I should try out moving forward. Morrissey Garcia, is that in the swag group? No, it's not. It's just something that I use to look up daily. If you're talking about that baseball table. All right. Well, I'm just going to cut it short. Hopefully next time we get a few more questions. Probably won't be doing this every day until we get a lot more viewers in. But yeah, if you guys want, you guys could just DM me questions. I'm an open book. So if you guys need help or questions on this stuff, just let me know. All right, guys. Peace.